So the theme of what we're going to speak about right now is this idea of how to do professional networking well. Now, I know that for your cases, Cynthia and Chandra, most of sort of the world has been approaching you first, and you respond to the world. So that's very much like a guest writes an inquiry or a partner gives you a request, and then you respond to that inquiry and request by offering your services. So the world of professional networking is slightly different, and it's a little bit more, let's say, it's different expectations, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at and examine maybe where the problem could be. The first thing I think about understanding professional networking is to really understand this idea of a marketing funnel. Are you guys aware what a marketing funnel is? Cynthia?
I think it starts from the awareness, then
Yes.
Google something, and the end is conversion.
Okay, very good. All right. Chandra, have you seen a marketing funnel before?
Yep.
Okay, so this part is very vital to understand, and I'll explain why the sort of the marketing funnel is vital for professional networking. So the idea is that yes, in professional networking, you're going to have to understand the funnel because this will give you the correct expectations of what is ahead. So I guess the first question I'm going to ask you guys is, okay, so this is the research questions and these are essentially the discussion. So why is the marketing funnel in this particular shape? Why do you see it in the shape of where it gets kind of like more and more narrow at each stage? Let's go to Chandra.
Um, why it is narrowing on the upper steps?
Yeah, why does it get more narrow at the end and more broad at the top?
Is it like a selection, sir?
Yeah, that's kind of it. So Chandra thinks it's more like kind of like selection. And let's go to Cynthia. Cynthia, what do you think it is?
Maybe in the scope.
Scope. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
uh,
Can you tell us a little bit more about scope, Cynthia?
I mean, like, so awareness where you can make many people uh, reach target. It's kind of like market target, no? It's kind of like the target. And then awareness, you can have a lot of people know about your products, and then start to consideration. It's more small scope. So maybe several of them, several of the community that consider it about your product, and then also the conversion. So it's kind of like the possibility of the awareness and the conversion is maybe different because of this. It's kind of like a marketing theory. So
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Excellent, Cynthia. I think that was really well received. So, hey, Andre, welcome back. I heard you're feeling a little bit sick, Andre.
Yeah, I just feel dizzy and just vomited, sir.
Okay. Why don't you sit out this one? Just relax and maybe lie down. You can just kind of listen to it as background, right? No need to stand up. Or if you want, just take that time off. I'd rather have you back when you're 100%. Okay. So the idea of a marketing funnel is one of the first expectations that I think you need to have in order to professionally network well. You're going to need to expect a lot of tries, and this could be essentially your messages, right? You're going to have to expect that you will try a lot of messages, and from that, a amount, small amount of people will respond. And then from that, from that group, a small amount of people will connect. And then from that, even a small amount of people will have a meaningful discussion. Okay. So that I think is the first expectation you got to have when you do professional networking. So let's say, for example, here, one of the things that I saw, let's say in Cynthia's case here, Cynthia, sorry to make this as an example, but I think it's actually a pretty clear case. So Cynthia wants to actually connect with former guests and speak to former guests about their experiences. Cynthia, how many former guests have you actually made aware of your intention right now?
Well, actually, it's kind of like 10 because I just put some random guests from the old time. So yeah, it's not many of the guests I contacted actually.
All right, so that's the problem, right? Um, that is essentially where the drop off is. 10 guests. Okay, so essentially with 10 guests, you won't get enough, right? You won't get enough input in the top of the funnel to actually get that meeting that you're looking for. So you're probably going to have to ramp up a lot in terms of your approach. You're going to have to make more people aware that you do have this intention. Okay. Once again, remember, when you go to professional networking again, we have the same structure as before, right? So let's talk about the things that we control. Control and don't control. All right, I've gone over this many times. Let's see if we remember this. Cynthia, what is the first thing that you control?
Timing,
Okay, you control timing. Okay,
and also
timing.
the total the amount of guests that I want to contact.
Right, you control your audience selection. Let's be broad in this case because sometimes it's guests, sometimes it'll be potential partners, sometimes it'll be potential hires, right? So it's just whatever the audience that you're looking for. So you control your audience. You also control your timing selection. Let's go to Chandra. What else do you control, Chandra?
Message.
You control your message, right? That part is really important. You control your message selection and okay. And what else do you control, Chandra? One more thing.
Channel of communication. Sir?
Channel of communication. All right, fantastic. All right, Chandra, I'll see you later at the Chinese discussion tonight.
All right. Yay.
Hey, by the way, if you're coming for Chinese tonight, I'd advise download Duolingo. Download Duolingo and start practicing on Duolingo. If you're going to really learn a language, Duolingo is the intermediate part between our lessons, right? So you need to get yourself some practice. I think that would be a good tip. So just as a heads up. Okay.
Yeah, I did, sir.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, very good. So you control the audience selection, you control the timing selection, you control the message, and you control your pivots. Remember that. Don't ever get stuck. If you get stuck, then come back to one of these things that you control to pivot on it. So what you don't control. You don't control if the audience engages with you, right? Actually, you know what? You don't control anything if the audience engages with you at all. The audience engages with you if they want to engage with you, right? So it's not like cause and effect. There is a bit of human decision to be made. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they're the right audience, but maybe you've reached out at the wrong time. Maybe they're the wrong audience. Maybe you've selected whatever. So you don't really control if the audience engages with you. That's a personal choice. But what you do control is this. Have you selected the right audience? Have you actually picked, let's say, an audience that is the correct target? Have you found the right timing to actually address them? Have you created a message that's compelling and makes them want to actually engage with you? And have you picked the right channel of communication? And have you pivoted correctly? All right. So remember that about each networking step, and that will make networking far easier, and it will make networking fun. It's sort of like a hunt, right? When you're hunting or you're fishing, if you went out and you looked for the wrong type of thing to fish for or to hunt for and you don't catch it, like let's say I'm going to try to hunt for a rhinoceros in Bali. Well, there's probably only one in the Bali Zoo, right? And you can't hunt it. It's not available. So I probably would come up empty-handed. But if I try to hunt for, let's say, I don't know, wild chicken or something, yes, it'll be difficult, but I know that wild chicken exists in Bali and I can probably get it. So that's my audience selection. And then my timing. Let's back to the analogy of the wild chicken. Let's say wild chicken don't really come out during the daytime. So I look for wild chicken all day during the daytime and I can't find it. And it's because I don't know their behavior. But let's say I find out later that wild chicken come out at the evening time around 6 or 7 o'clock. Then I can get a little bit better at that. Okay, so let's go through this process and analyze maybe where we might have made mistakes in our networking process. So Chandra, Chandra, how have you been doing networking so far? Okay, tell me about the audience that you found.
Muted, babe.
Oh, Chandra, you muted that.
My audience is mostly coming from like Airbnb host.
Okay, mostly Airbnb hosts. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
and I'm trying to reach out as well for the property management through emails.
Okay, okay. So let's go with one group first, and then we will deep dive into the second group. All right. So you're looking at mostly Airbnb hosts. Okay, so that's your audience. What's been your timing?
I send the message like afternoon, sir.
Okay, send messages in the afternoon. Okay, all right, great. What's in your message? What do you ask?
I'm asking about the possibility of having a partnership together.
Okay, possibility of partnership. Okay, partnership. Okay, great. And what's the channel of communication that you use?
From WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. Okay, so you find their number and then you WhatsApp them, yeah?
Mm.
Okay, all right. So WhatsApp and you find their number. Where do you find their number from?
From Google, sir.
From Google. Okay, so you do a Google search, find their property, get their number, and then contact them on WhatsApp. And okay, all right. So that's interesting. And your other group is the property management companies, right?
Right.
All right. And so what sort of timing do you have on that one?
Same, sir. Around afternoon until evening.
Okay, send messages in the afternoon. Okay. All right. And what's the message that you asked them?
Possibility of partnership as well.
Okay, so same messaging, possibility of partnership. Okay, all right. And then how do you find that?
The email.
Email. Okay, email. Okay, great. All right. So we've found out Chandra's style right now. Let's actually go. Let's go to Shinthia too. Shinthia, currently, tell me how you're doing your networking and what you're targeting.
Okay, so right now I think you already know the method that I use there. So I start from the layoff link that you gave me previous day, and
Okay,
then
yeah, please. Okay.
yeah, I did search on that things. I mean like for the link for the Google Sheet there,
Okay.
and then I'm looking for the people that are expert on the community, sorry, the customer service or customer relation.
Okay.
Mostly of the maybe I pick the top level like manager. Or no, usually I pick some level. So I pick from the manager, maybe the supervisor, maybe, and also the mayor employee. I mean
Okay.
the customer service representation. And then I look, yep, looking their LinkedIn, and then I'm going to message them from the LinkedIn.
Okay. So what timing do you have usually?
In the afternoon.
Okay.
In
After.
the, yeah.
Okay. And then what's your message?
The message it's kind of like mostly the same with Aldo. I ask them how are they doing, and then yeah, just like I approach you since you have a experience, and then I'd like to build the you actually. I speaking behalf of your name. I'd like to build this company, and then I'd like to have a customer experience at best. So can
Okay.
you talk like that?
Okay, great. Experience mentoring, building a company, and what channel do you use?
LinkedIn,
Okay, which profile do you use?
your profile.
Okay, Jing profile. Okay, fantastic. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So, in this particular condition, let me kind of dive in and try to analyze what could actually be um, be improved. Right? Okay. When you see timing, make sure you see timing from your audience perspective, not from your own perspective, right? What sort of timing are you looking at in sort of, okay, when you seek to understand timing, try to think about it from timing from the perspective of your audience. Okay, for you it's the afternoon, and that's one way to frame timing. But think of timing in terms of, okay, let's say their career stage, right? Cynthia is picking timing related to just after a layoff, right? So that's sort of like the timing related to Cynthia's particular goal. Chandra's timing is maybe during the middle of a crisis, right? to a person who is operating a property. Okay, so in order to understand the timing, don't think of it from your own perspective because that won't really help. Think about it from like the perspective of the audience. Back to, let's say, if you're hunting. If you're thinking about hunting in terms of timing for the animal that you're going after, you have to think about the timing from its perspective. Is it mating season? That could be a great timing to catch a lot of crab or catch a lot of whatever, because all the animals all get together into one small area. So that's timing related to the animal's life cycle. Maybe it's related to their feeding habits. Maybe they eat in the morning or they eat in the afternoon. So that's related to like a feeding pattern, right? Morning, afternoon, or whatever. Maybe it's related to their holiday schedule, right? That they're on holidays, or it's the weekend, or it's during work hours, or it's not during work hours. So these are all different dimensions of timing to consider, and how you can also place your timing to be the most efficient when you professionally network. Generally speaking, if let's say this is during business hours, it tends to work a little bit better if you are timing yourself. Maybe if somebody's laid off, then business hours work fine. But if you're timing, let's say, for post-business hours, that might work better if someone still has a job, right? So think about timing in terms of that. So messages in the afternoon are really irrelevant at this point, unless you know the work schedule of, let's say, an Airbnb host. You can kind of imagine what the work schedule of an Airbnb host would be normally, because you guys do it yourselves. And then you can kind of also imagine what their schedule would be like right now too. So right now they're probably not too busy. They're probably thinking about like, okay, what to do. So anytime is actually the same time. In fact, anytime is equally good. So then the second thing is this idea of your message, right? Possibility of a partnership does not convey any urgency. And so therefore you won't get a very urgent response back, Chandra, right? You won't get somebody that's like, oh, I need to get a partnership done today. So what you could say to increase urgency is you could have the message, I have a guest right now, and do you have a room available for tonight?
All right.
Right? So if you create that, then that's much more urgent, and they will probably, this is probably good timing then, because they might not have a filled room. So you've essentially upgraded your message to upgrade the urgency, and now this person is probably going to upgrade their urgency in responding to you. This is the method that Wyanna and I used to build this entire network in the very beginning. We would never ask anybody, do you want to partner with us? Why? Like paperwork, whatever, all this nonsense. Fuck that shit. We have a guest. Do you want some money? Yes, I would take money any day of the week, especially if I'm empty right now and I need somebody to help operation costs. So the messaging has to be, I think, directly pointed to a benefit that this person would see, hopefully immediately, right? Hopefully immediately. So that can be really strategic. Email is generally not an urgent channel of communication. Email is essentially sometimes, for a lot of property management companies, including ourselves, we're months late on email. So email, especially during a crisis, is probably not the best way. You can imagine this, right? If the government is going to tell everybody, hey, evacuate now, there's a tsunami coming, they probably won't send you an email, right? That won't, you might not check it for half a day. You might not check it for a week. So email also does not express an urgent channel of communication, and you probably won't get an urgent response back either. So if you want to get a faster cycle, then choose channels that I think necessitate urgency. This can be the phone. I got on a phone call just the other day with Bali Blue, which is a villa up here in Tuen Mun Hill, and in 5 minutes, I figured out whether or not they were available, and in 5 minutes, they told me what their price was. So that was extremely fast because I picked a channel that is urgent. That phone call is generally urgent and needs to be taken right now. So that can be a pivot that you explore, Chandra. Try using a phone call. Don't be afraid of the phone. And tell them the truth. We have guests. Do you want a guest? And they will probably say, you'll get a conversation started. You'll start going from awareness into consideration, right? More quickly. Okay, let's go with Cynthia. Cynthia is talking about this thing about experience mentoring, building a company, and the timing actually once again is this timing is unrelated to, let's say, this person. If you want to be even better at this, Cynthia, you can even make sure that they receive the email, let's say, sometime during their daytime, right? You can even try calling, right, as well. Just using a WhatsApp call or a Google call, that can be a possibility too as well. So the timing for this is pretty much the same. If you're unemployed, any time is okay. It's just during my unemployment phase. And then the message here is, I think you could really butter people up, right? You could really say essentially something to appeal to recognition, appeal to their sense of recognition. Hey, I saw that you were an expert, that you're an expert on this topic. I'm doing research about this topic. Would you like to be a source for my research, right? Um, this is a very flattering approach. Hey, Chandra, I heard that you're an expert on customer service at Bukit Vista, and I am a new person in customer service. I don't know anything. Chandra, would you be willing to share 10 minutes of your time to educate me on how to do customer service the way that you do? And Chandra feels like what right now?
I feel like, yeah, I think I would like to,
Yeah, and why do you feel that way?
because there is an appreciation of whatever I'm doing.
Exactly, right? Recognition. And remember, this goes back to this idea of a Maslow pyramid, right? A Maslow pyramid is Maslow, peak. We talked about this the other day, and Cynthia's already shaking her head. She's like, I remember this. Employee pyramid. And I think this part is pretty important to understand in terms of really, here it is, right? So when we work as an employee at a company, there's essentially different levels of needs that we feel. And the first need is, of course, we need to be paid. That's just kind of basic. You need money in order to survive, and that's what work is. Work is, you trade your time for money. But there's also other needs too as well. There's needs for recognition, and there's the highest need for knowing the meaning. So I've spent 10 years working this. What have I done to change anything? You can talk to a lot of people, ironically, that work in banking. And banking pays a lot of money. You get paid lots of money to work in banking. And ironically, one of the things that they always say after a career of banking is that, you know what, I was probably better if I just made holes in the ground. And you ask, why do you say that? Because at least there would be something to show for it, which is ironic in a way, because banking is an industry where there's a lot of money, but there's not a lot of meaning. You essentially just take money, you move it over here to over there, and that's it. You just simply move money around from bet to bet, from idea to idea. You don't really make jobs. You don't really build anything. You don't really make impact. None of your work can actually be seen at the end of your career. So a lot of bankers feel this lack of meaning in their careers. So why am I sharing that with you? The idea of the messaging is important because if you're targeting the messaging, target recognition right now. Target, hey, look, I've identified you. You seem to be an expert. I want to learn from you. I'm recognizing you for your accomplishments. Would you like to take that as a gift? And that tends to work. A lot of people, when we talk with them in our networking opportunities, we ask them, why did you help us? And a lot of them say pretty unexpected things. They said, well, you reached out to me. I appreciated that feeling of somebody coming to me and asking me for my advice. And that was a center part of it, this idea of recognition. So this is important too, as well, to really understand about the messaging part and what benefit does this person get by speaking with you, by working with you, right? So make that as clear as possible. Okay. All right. So then let's talk about next things you're going to do. So what's the next action you can take? All right. Let's go to Chandra. How would you like to move ahead now?
I'm changing the channel of communications,
Okay, changing the channel of communication. Very good.
and then I'm changing the message as well, trying to be more urgent for the audience.
Okay, changing the message to benefit the audience. Okay, great.
and getting more people. So I need to find as much as people that I could.
Very good. All right, you got it. Excellent, Chandra. Figured it out. All right, over to Cynthia. Cynthia, what about you? What's the next direction you'd like to take?
Well, actually, I have used that one. So like, you are an expert. I already used that, and then maybe looking for the theory so I will like approaching them based on their need. What actually they want to be really nice. So it's kind of like a nail for them.
Exactly.
So they want to get back to us.
Okay, want to get back to us. Okay, remember also, ladies, and Andre too as well. Think about like your former guests. What are they experts in? They're experts probably in. Oh, actually, I forgot Cynthia. Cynthia, how are you reaching out to former guests?
Well, actually, at the first time, I asked them, "How are you?" Of course, and then, "What did you do in this pandemic?" And then I said, like, frankly, that actually we have a new innovation since yeah we don't have any check-in guests, and you are have experience. Would you please like maybe share your experience with me as your friend, and then casually, and yeah, I do it that way.
Okay,
I
like
asked them to like friendly to have a video call chat.
okay, great. And what channel are you using right now to communicate?
Um, Actually, it's Google Meet.
Okay, Google Meetup. Okay.
Maybe it's kind of like I have several channels right there. So when I said
Here's a summary
Google
of
Meet,
the
and
website
they didn't have.
meetup.com. 1. Create
sorry.
a group.
Hey, Google.
2. Review.
Turn off. Okay, you're saying Cynthia?
Yep, and then when they didn't have
Sorry,
that
I can't
channel,
find Bukit Vista
maybe
Town Hall. Please make sure that that device is turned on and connected to the internet.
Sorry. Okay. Continue, Cynthia.
okay. Maybe if they don't have that account, I could use the other option like Zoom or
Okay.
maybe Verify.
Okay, great. But let's actually talk about before that stage, right? Right now, you're propositioning former guests. So how are you getting this awareness through to them? What channel are you using?
WhatsApp.
Oh, you're using WhatsApp. Okay, great. All right, let me analyze this a little bit. Are these people who would regularly use WhatsApp when they go back home?
Yes, mostly
Okay.
since yeah, they're still getting back.
Okay, so most of the guests still use WhatsApp. Okay, all right. You know what? You have actually a fantastic um, channel to communicate. So rich. What you could probably try doing is you could try doing this. This is in your messaging. You could try doing a mimic sort of share, right? And what this is I'll show you and you'll show me, right? So this is kind of related to this idea of reciprocal gift giving. If you share a picture of your Bali trip in Panita, they will share a trip picture back to you, right? That's just kind of like the way that people naturally communicate. You can be like, "Hey, how's it going? We miss you in Bali. Here's a picture of my last trip to Bali." And then, "Oh my God, that's so awesome! I love Bali." And then you get a conversation started that way. That can actually be much more fun and engaging than I'm doing some research, blah 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 blah. Would you help me? That's kind of like cut to the chase, right? Share a photo first. Say, "Hey, look, this is a trip I recently took to Bali. We miss you." And they'll be like, "Oh my God, yeah, I totally love Bali. I wish I was there right now." And then they would share something back. And then you get essentially a roll started. You don't need to necessarily even tell them that you're doing research. You can just kind of start in a more playful, casual way, and the research will just naturally happen. It will just sort of be like, "Oh yeah, I did these top 3 things," because you're starting with a benefit. You're starting with essentially a gift. You're starting with this idea, "Hey, look, I'm going to touch you and make your day brighter by sharing you a happy memory about a place that you travel to," right? And then who wouldn't during lockdown love seeing that? Like, "Oh my God, yeah, I totally wish I was next to some blue water and some coconut trees instead of freezing my ass off in this cold, barren apartment, eating ramen every day, right? So you can share that, and then immediately you can cut to the chase. Then they'll probably write back, and they will start sharing some photos, and you get the conversation started, right? That's a benefit that let's say other channels of communication don't necessarily have. Okay, great. So that is my that's what I'd like to share. Also invite Cynthia, you and Chandra. I'll invite you guys to this document to sort of just sort of build this out a little bit more. And this also goes on to my card, actually. So I have a professional networking card right now on Trello. I'll invite you guys to that card too as well. And that's where I put all this good stuff. Wait, Chandra, you're Chandra Dewi, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, here you are. Okay. And I'll share that to you guys. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I hate losing documents. So that's why we have initiatives, right? That way we don't like forget, oh, where do I put this? Where did that go? So then this belongs to the HR initiative of professional networking. This goes into my initiative of everybody networking in a game. So that's there. And that's in developing network skills. And this, I guess, is a basic of professional networking. It's over here. And I will share this link to you guys. I will share this to, okay, all right, wait, let me add you guys here. Chandra. Okay, there you are, Chandra. Bingo. Invited to the thing, to the board, not the thing. Cynthia, okay, bingo, again. And here's the card. So I have other professional networking sort of documentation here, and you guys are welcome to browse that and learn and really practice this. It's a little bit like medicine, right? We don't know medicine, we practice medicine if we're doctors. And professional networking just needs practice. And pretty soon, when you get really good at it, it becomes really fun. It becomes almost like a game, like dating. You can target the people you want to go for, and then you can connect with them, and then now you have a relationship with them. I've never dated anybody I professionally network with yet, but I don't know. Maybe that could be an option. Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's our discussion about professional networking. Is that pretty much clear? Does that give you guys some new ideas on